Hey there, self-care warriors. Welcome back to Self-Care Haven. I wanted to make a second video, and this video is going to be about what narcissistic parents teach us about perfection, or should I say their skewed version of what perfection looks like to them. Now understand that if you have had a narcissistic parent, or if both of your parents were narcissistic, or even if you had just another family member who is narcissistic, or perhaps a sibling or a caretaker who is narcissistic, their version of what perfection looks like will be based on their agenda for you. What is it that you're going to provide for them as a child? Because if you are a child of a narcissistic parent, no doubt that you will be seen as a trophy and an object to be shown around. You will never be truly congratulated for what you accomplish, at least not without a backhanded compliment, but you will be used and utilized to make those parents look very good to society. And what narcissistic parents teach us about being perfect is that there's only one version of perfect, and it's all based on their own standards. Now, whether those standards are contradictory, hypocritical, excessive, and just plain demanding and abusive, remember that they will hold you to those standards. And whether you were the golden child, or I would guess probably the scapegoat, the black sheep, the rebel in that family dynamic, you will be held to impossible standards and expectations throughout your life. Even when you are no longer a child, you will still be treated as one. You will be treated as their property. You will be treated as their object. If you're not making them look good in some way, then your duties are not being fulfilled. And your duty as a child is to serve them and their agenda and what they want for you. Now, there's a difference between a narcissistic parent and someone who may have high expectations due to cultural expectations, but I find that a narcissistic parent is excessively obsessed with this idea of perfection, and they do not show compassion, they do not show empathy towards their child at all, whereas a controlling parent who is not a narcissist still has the ability to empathize with their children. They still are able to be compassionate even if the child and the parent disagree on some things. So there's the difference. There's that distinction. And if you have a truly narcissistic parent, you know that distinction very well, because your whole life you have been trying to either meet those impossible standards or have been punished for not meeting them. So when we grow up with this skewed idea that we have to be perfect in order to be valuable, to be loved, to be worthy, what do we get? We get this chronic sense of emptiness in the place where there should have been unconditional positive regard for who we are, for just existing. From the time that we were very small children, we learned that just existing is not enough. We would have to meet this impossible standard of a skewed version of perfection that does not benefit us, but fits someone's hypocritical, excessively abusive idea of what perfection really means. A key part of addressing that is falling in love with not just our imperfections, but even the things that we have found ourselves hating about ourselves. That means that we have to fall in love with our dark side, what we think is our dark side, but really are just the normal human imperfections that we came into this world with, that make us beautiful, that make us gorgeous, inside and out. And learning how to do that can be difficult. It can be very challenging when you have grown up as the child of a narcissist. And you will definitely encounter probably more narcissists in your lifetime that reinforce those wounds, that feed you different versions of perfection, again, that you're not able to meet because if you have a narcissistic parent and then you meet narcissistic partners, what's going to happen? You're going to cement that subconscious wounding even further. You're going to manufacture new wounds in the place of the narcissistic parent wounds that you already have. And then you're going to have these complex layers to unravel throughout your lifetime. And one small step that you can even just take today is asking yourself, what is one thing that I think is so imperfect inside of myself? Something that may be dark or something that I'm ashamed of. Whether it's inside, outside, doesn't matter, anything. And what is that thing that makes me imperfect? And how can I learn to love it, show compassion for it, and show that unconditional positive regard that I was raised not to have for myself? I hope this exercise helps, and I hope that this video is one of many that discusses the effects of narcissistic parenting, because it is an issue that is close and dear to my heart. You'll learn more about why in my book, but it is really something that I know touches so many survivors and resonates with so many survivors, especially if the narcissistic abuse experience, it's not something that they just encountered in adulthood, but also in childhood. So I hope this exercise helps in identifying some of the imperfections that we've been told are unacceptable. They're not unacceptable. They're part of us. And they deserve just as much love as the things that we're very proud of. Because that inner critical voice that we've developed from childhood, due to the shame that a narcissistic parent imposes upon us for not meeting their impossible standards of perfection and worthiness and being valuable, those are the things that teach us to self-sabotage and to hate ourselves due to the very human qualities and flaws and quirks and imperfections that we are all entitled to have. So I hope this video helps. I hope this video helps to validate you, empower you, inspire you in some way. What is that one trait, that imperfection, whether it's inside or on the outside, that you are finding it challenging to accept and you would love to love yourself more as a result of it? Let me know in the comment section below, and I hope to talk to you very soon. Until then, take care.